You're listening to WBDS Behringer's Radio.
America, the land of the free, home of the brave, and the stupid, and the criminally insane. The United States has seen its fair share of gangsters, mobsters, and psychotics who've roamed our beloved streets causing untold chaos, destruction, and corruption. Tonight, on A Criminal History, a Mafia story. Yes, folks, that's right. Tonight, in collaboration with our sponsors over at Swift Cola, WBDS Behringer's Radio brings you a chilling story about the plague of crime that had seemingly overrun our wonderful city in the 1930s, with a closer look at one of Lost Heaven's most notorious organized crime outfits. Thanks to the insights of our investigative reporters at the Lost Heaven Courier and details obtained from the LHPD's own Detective John Norman, we are proud to bring you this tale of opportunity, family, and cold-blooded murder as we examine the criminal history of Thomas Angelo.
Look, Paulie's at his ceiling. He's the guy we want in a tussle, but he's not smart enough to run anything. Sam is loyal, but he has no vision. But you, Tommy, you could run this town someday.
This episode of A Criminal History has been split into two parts. For normal viewers, you'll have to wait until next week to see part 2, but if you want to see the entire episode in one video right now, you can get it by signing up to my Patreon for less than $2 American a month. And you'll also get access to downloadable versions of every episode and nearly 100 original music tracks made for the show. That's patreon.com/Guinness Walker. If you're feeling particularly generous, you can even sign up at the executive producer tier level and promote some of your own content. Speaking of which, today's episode is sponsored in part by executive producers Ezra Hambrick and Mason Colin. You can check out Ezra's YouTube channel, ScottGames99, where they play games like Red Dead Redemption 2, MLB The Show 22, Vice City Definitive Edition, and more, as well as Mason Colin's podcast channel, We're About Everything, where they discuss, well, everything, from zombie apocalypses to game remasters and more. Support the show by showing them some love, and without further ado, enjoy today's episode.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the program. If you're a regular listener of WBDS and happen to own a television set, you can now tune in to our full video broadcast of tonight's program on Channel 3 to learn all about the City of Lost Heaven's criminal history. Like so many stories relating to the organized crime outfits across the city in the 1930s, our story tonight begins not in Lost Heaven itself, but in the rolling hills of the Italian countryside, and more specifically, the town of San Celeste on the island of Sicily. As many of our listeners likely already know, a deluge of criminal organizations originally based in parts of Italy made their jump to American territory in the early parts of the 20th century, with a significant majority of those organizations originally hailing from the otherwise isolated island just off the Italian coast. In San Celeste on April the 5th, 1900, tonight's subject was born Thomas Angelo, to Marco Angelo Sr. and Maria Angelo, as the third and youngest child of 3, with an older brother, Marco Jr., and an older sister, Isabella. Tommy's father, Marco Sr., worked as a supervisor at the Valari Lemon Grove plantation near the port of Messina, and for a time kept the family living in relative comfort, until the plantation was foreclosed by a moneylender, forcing the Angelo family to reevaluate their options, if they wanted to survive. It also seems likely that Marco Sr. not only worked at the plantation, but also lived on the premises with his family, as by the time of foreclosure, the family would be evicted from their home, and soon after, in 1904, emigrate to the United States, in hopes of finding new opportunities in America. The family would spend nearly a month at sea aboard the Maritimo Italiano, as they prepared to face the newest chapter of their lives, and by Christmas Day of 1904 arrived in Empire Bay, New York, eventually making their way to the city of Lost Heaven, Illinois, on a crowded train, where they settled down permanently. Tommy's father would find new employment as a dock worker at the Lost Heaven Harbor and continue to provide for his family until his death 15 years later in either 1919 or 1920. Tommy would spend a majority of his youth still living with his family, and eventually, at around the age of 20, decide to temporarily leave Lost Heaven in search of regular employment, which he would find as a member of a road crew, helping to build the rapidly sprawling highway networks which had begun to spring up all across the nation with the rise of the automobile. All across the northern United States, Tommy would work to help bring the government's vision of a nationwide road network to life, living in nomadic-style camps as each new stretch of highway was completed, and building up considerable savings in the process. By 1926, Tommy would become weary of the heavy labor required to keep building new stretches of highway and decide to move back to Lost Heaven, using the money he'd managed to save up to purchase a Schubert 6 taxicab, and begin working as a cabbie just as the imminent curtain of the Depression loomed closer with each passing day. For several years, Tommy would learn the ins and outs of taxi driving around the city of Lost Heaven, becoming a skilled driver by catering to his customers' often self-serving demands as clientele from his own social class whittled away, leaving him serving mostly the slightly more affluent denizens of the city who could afford to spend the money needed to get around, without owning a car of their own. Eventually, though, Lost Heaven, like most places in America, would experience what has become known as the Great Depression, and work for nearly all lower-income Americans would seem to drop off at a frightening speed. Luckily for Tommy, even in the midst of economic ruin, the more affluent citizens of the city would still have a need for taxi drivers, and Tommy's profession would be one of the few that seemed almost immune to the downturn prevalent in so many other places, although not without cost. Tommy would be forced to work long hours, seemingly every day, in order to continue making ends meet, and settled into mostly working night shifts in order to have more time with his own thoughts. But even with his nose to the grindstone, it would be next to impossible to do anything more than simply carry on, no longer able to build up any real savings despite his regular, grueling work schedule. However, while many immigrants like Tommy would manage to find some form of honest work in the wake of the Depression, many others had instead taken to a life of crime in order to make ends meet, and especially those who hailed from Tommy's home island of Sicily. By 1930, as organized crime rackets grew even more powerful with the Depression raging on, and even more so with the city of Lost Heaven being voted a dry county during alcohol prohibition, Tommy would eventually find himself in the wrong place at the wrong time, when working his regular night shift as a cabbie, and being accosted by a pair of thugs in the midst of an automobile shootout, who promptly threatened Angelo into driving for them to escape a group of similarly violent criminals working for a rival crime family.
I mostly drove nights, because the money was better. It was at the end of one of those shifts, when I first met Polly and Sam. Shit!
There's a taxi here. We'll be okay. Move it. Come on.
Where to?
Anywhere. Fast.
Already being a talented driver thanks to his many years of moving people around the city and avoiding the Lost Heaven police when possible to earn extra tips, Tommy would successfully manage to evade the pursuers and deliver the two men to a bar in Little Italy, Soulieri's, where he was compensated for his efforts in saving the two high-ranking members of the Soulier crime family. What Tommy didn't know at the time was just how deep this relatively simple act of skillful driving would drag him into the world of organized crime, and just how tempting the money they made in comparison to the average Joes on the street would be.
Pull over in front of that bar.
Soulieri's place.
Yeah, that's the one. Wait here.
What for?
You want a little something from the Don or not?
compensation for your services, any damage to your car. This makes us square.
I'm sure it's more than enough.
Good. Don Soulier wants you to know that he's very grateful. So if you ever need anything, maybe a loan or some honest work, don't hesitate to ask. Don doesn't forget his friends.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
One more thing. This matter stays between us. Anyone asks where you got that money, you won it at poker. The scratches on your car, you swerved to keep from hitting a little old lady. You got it?
Of course.
See you around, kid.
When I opened the envelope, I could have had a heart attack. Enough to fix the cap. Nearly enough to buy a new one. I thought about what Sam said about work. I wasn't interested. The money was good, sure, but I didn't want to get in with criminals. Better to be poor and alive than rich and dead. So, right there, back then, I was out.
As it turned out, the two men Tommy had helped were Salieri Capo Regime's Sam Trapani and Paulie Lombardo, and having been thoroughly impressed with Tommy's skills as a driver, they would even offer him an opportunity to work for the Salieri crew to make some extra money. But, at least at the time, Tommy would be less than interested in going from cabbie to gangster, or even being directly associated with the crew at all if it meant risking his life. Unfortunately, even if his initial decision to help Sam and Paulie had been made under duress, the rival outfit to the Salieri crew would be less than pleased with Tommy's intervention, and soon after getting his cab fixed and returning to work, Tommy would once again find himself the target of angry, violent mobsters.
Whoa, Jesus!
Hey, how you doing, pal? You remember me? Yeah? Huh? Mr. Morello's a little bent. Shouldn't go helping Salieri's goons, huh? I'm gonna have to give you a beating. Just so you always remember who runs this town. Make it so you won't do much rocking for a while. Look at this guy. I didn't think he'd make it fun. Let's get him.
He would flee the attackers through much of Little Italy, luckily being just agile enough to avoid being caught, and by either sheer coincidence or divine providence, wind up right back at Salieri's bar, where he promptly took cover from his pursuers of the Morello crime family, Dino and Lou, at just the right time.
Look at this.
How you doing, kid? Dino, Lou. You got business with the Don?
Nah, we're just trying to talk to that cabbie over there, that's all.
That right.
Yeah.
Well, this here's the Don's favorite driver. So anything you gotta say to him, you can say to me.
Is that right? Well, I'll tell you something, pal. We ain't leaving empty-handed, that's for sure.
Well, then maybe you ain't leaving at all.
Okay, then. See your boys around. Let's go, Lou.
Thanks.
Least we could do.
Come on, let's go say hi to the Don.
Don Salieri?
Yeah. He's gonna want to hear about this.
At the behest of Sam and Paulie, Tommy would meet with Salieri accountant Frank Coletti, and later the Don himself, this time having a personal stake in the attack on his livelihood, and pleading with Don Ennio Salieri to give him permission to take revenge on the Morello thugs, who had once again put his business in danger. While it may not have been official quite yet, it was at this moment, arguably, that Thomas Angelo became a gangster of lost heaven.
What do they call you, son?
Thomas. Thomas Angelo, sir.
Frank told me you ran into some trouble?
Yes, sir. My cab got smashed up pretty good.
Morello's thugs went after him by the kind of Tommy helping us.
This, taxi. That's your livelihood?
Yes, sir.
I feel a sense of responsibility here. So I'm gonna set you up with a small loan, enough to get that cab of yours fixed up.
I appreciate that, sir, but I'm not looking for a handout.
Then what are we doing here?
I just want a shot at the bastards who wrecked my cab.
You hear that, Frank? The kid wants my permission to get into a fight.
Yes, I heard.
Okay, Tommy Angelo. All the Morello's girls hang out at a bar he owns. Paul, you know the place.
Sure do, boss.
Good. You can ride along with Tommy. There's a lot right next to the bar where they park their cars. Go smash up a few tin cans, send Morello a message. He can't rough up hard-working Joes in my neighborhood without getting a black eye.
Thank you, Mr. Soulier. I won't let you down.
And Tommy, when you get back, we'll talk about what's next for you.
With permission from the Don himself, Tommy would accompany Paulie to the lounge bar owned by Marco Morello of the rival Morello crime family in North Park after meeting several other members of the Salieri crew, including weapons expert Vincenzo Ricci and natural mechanic Ralphie. Armed with only a couple of baseball bats and several homemade firebomb grenades, Tommy and Paulie would sneak their way onto the premises and proceed to destroy numerous vehicles owned by Morello's goons, before stealing one owned by one of the thugs who had roughed up Tommy's cab, Dino, and returning to Salieri's with news of their success.
Hey, boss. It's done.
No trouble?
Yeah, nothing we couldn't handle, Mr. Salieri.
Good, good. Sit down. You see Morello?
Nah. But he'll be plenty pissed when his boys tell him what happened.
He's not going to be able to think straight for weeks. See, that's the difference between me and Morello. I'm a businessman. I do everything with this. Every decision I make, it's what's good for the business and my boys. But Morello, he's a hothead, and all that anger burns out the brain. And when he gets mad, he gets stupid.
You got nothing like that to worry about with Tommy here. He was aces the whole way, boss.
I'm glad to hear it. I got a growing business here. We could use a guy like you to help out around the bar. Maybe run some errands, make sure the bills get paid on time. You up for that?
Oh, it'd be an honor, sir.
Good. Good. Now, Polly and Sam have already vouched for you. But you need to understand we have a few rules around here, so you listen and listen good. First, no cursing on the premises. There's a million words out there. And the man who needs to resort to fuck this and fuck that is just ignorant or lazy. Second, we don't deal in the hard stuff. I don't want any dope fiends in this neighborhood. We'll let Morello poison his own people if that's what he wants. Finally, stay out of trouble with the cops. We only have a few on the payroll. And if you cross the line, the rest will come after you. You understand?
Yes, Mr. Salieri.
Then I'm going to only ask you for one more thing, Tommy. I don't keep Paulie and Sam around just because they're strong. A lot of guys out there bigger and tougher than these two. And I don't keep Frank on the payroll because he's smart. Though he is an artist with the numbers. All these guys in this room, they're here because they have the only thing that matters to me. The only thing that should matter to any of us. You know what that is, Tommy?
They're loyal.
That's right. Now you stay straight with me, you're gonna be living the high life, Tom. But you abuse my trust.
Don Salieri, You won't ever need to worry about me.
Okay, then. Welcome to the family. Excellent. Now I'm starving. Luigi, let's eat.
Welcome.
Our barman Luigi is not much of a cook. But his daughter Sarah, Maron.
Though originally uninterested in becoming a full-fledged gangster, now spurred on by his desires for revenge and his need to keep the lights on during a particularly rough economic time, Tommy Angelo would officially join Salieri's crew and begin working his way up the ranks using his many natural talents for criminal handiwork. Having already been vouched for by Sam and Polly, Tommy would be able to skip a certain amount of the usual legwork necessary to develop a reputation with the family, by accompanying the two on their many regular routines collecting earnings from the organization's various protection rackets, among others.
And it's collection day, boys. So Tommy, you'll drive. Polly and Sam can handle the rest. It'll be routine.
Just a handful of stops today.
Bill at the motel was a little short last month. So make sure he pays us the interest he owes.
No problem, boss.
Don't lay hands on anyone unless there's no other choice. Our clients need to understand that we provide a valuable service. They need to look at you and see Santa Michael. They need to believe you'll protect them.
So let Morella stoop to breaking legs. We're better than that. But the bill's still due, and everyone pays up.
We can handle it.
Go see Ralphie about a car.
Okay, boss.
After several normal collections around the city, the group would pay a visit to the Clark's Motel just outside of town, and Tommy would be given his first real opportunity to prove himself as not just a driver, but a full-blooded button man for the Salieri crew, when Sam and Polly are ambushed by Morello soldiers, already present at the motel, shooting Polly non-fatally and taking Sam hostage in an effort to interrogate useful information out of him, in addition to keeping Salieri's expected payment for themselves.
I took one. Jesus Christ, Polly!
Tell Salieri from here on out this place is ours. Capiche? And don't come back, or you'll end up in worse shape than your friends.
Get Sal. They're trying to beat information out of him. I gotta get you to a doctor. I can wait. Get Sam out of there.
Okay, just hang on.
Though not a war veteran or even particularly familiar with firearms at all, Tommy would demonstrate his natural aptitude with weapons by taking down several of the rival gangsters inside and eventually rescuing Sam from a back room, but with one of the Morello thugs fleeing the motel still holding the money. Tommy would once again be forced to use his abilities as a wheelman to catch and stop the thieves dead in their tracks. Though he'd started out as a simple driver meant to help Sam and Polly, it seemed Tommy was already proving just how valuable an asset he could really be to the family.
Sam, they really went to work on you, buddy.
Christ.
Come on, you'll be all right.
You're tough as nails.
Oh, shit.
He's got the money, Tom.
Oh, catch the bastard! That was when I saw the cost. What it meant to be on the inside. I should have took off there and then. But I couldn't go back to being a nobody.
By 1932, Tommy Angelo had become a regular and dependable earner for the Salieri crime family, and had even earned the trust of Don Salieri himself, which only pushed him further along the path of criminal debauchery that he'd already chosen for himself. When Don Salieri's personal investment in a local racer, Mikey Dunn, threatens to turn sour with a new European racer in town, the Don would entrust Tommy with the job of making sure that Mikey emerged the victor, no matter what had to be done.
Tommy, thanks for getting down here so quickly.
Yeah, sure thing, boss. What do you need?
You know there's a race coming up.
Oh, yeah. Paulie and Sam have some money on the local.
Mikey Dunn.
That's the guy.
He's a good kid, but a bit of a scrapper. Not too smart with his money. A few years ago, Mikey comes to me asking for a loan. He wants to get new tires so he can keep racing junkers out at the quarry. I like fast cars. I figured it'll be a bit of a hobby. Turns out, Mikey's a great investment. The kid can't lose a race if he walks the track. He graduates from the junkers to gal jobs, and I start placing a few bets on him here and there. Next thing I know, I've made all my money back and more.
Hey, Sam says he's the guy to beat.
He was. We ran all the competition out of town. But now Ralph says there's a hotshot European entering the race, and he's got a car faster than our boys by a country mile.
How much do we stand to lose?
A truckload. But not just our outfit. A lot of guys from the neighborhood come to me for financial advice. They've all put money down on this kid. It'll be like Black Thursday around here if he loses. Well, for everyone except Morello.
Oh, you think he's from the European?
Oh, I'm certain of it.
You want something to happen to the driver?
Can't find him. Morello's got him holed up somewhere safe. Besides, if he drops out or disappears now, none of our wagers will stand. Everyone will cry foul, say the race is fixed.
What about his car?
That's the ticket, Tommy. Ralph knows a guard at the track. You go down there tonight, you boost the European's car, bring it to one of our mechanics, and make a few adjustments, you bring the car back.
Should be no problem, boss.
But even after taking the European's car to be purposefully fiddled with by mechanic Lucas Bertoni, it would seem that Don Morello, who was betting against Dunn, would still be one step ahead. When Morello goons managed to find Mikey Dunn, they would badly injure him in order to stack the deck in their boss's favor, and as a result, Tommy Angelo would be asked to take Mikey's place, being the only other wheelman in Salieri's crew whose own skills could even approach those of Dunn.
So Sam walks out of the bathroom, and I'm praying he's got a piece on him, because I'm not sure the bartender's going to hand over what he owes. And his two sons, they're inching closer. I can hear them cracking their knuckles. They're both 7 feet tall, built like brick shithouses.
What were you carrying?
My dick.
That's right. This crazy bastard, he waltzes out of the bathroom, just starts pissing all over the joint.
Really? What, he didn't call the cops?
Nah, sometimes you just gotta make them think you're crazy.
Tom, you got a moment?
Oh. Sure, Frank.
We've got a bit of a situation.
Is the boss okay?
Oh yeah, it's nothing like that. Mikey Dunn, our driver. Some of Morello's guys roughed him up pretty good last night. Broke his arm, broke his jaw. Sent him to the hospital.
Jesus.
Yeah, tough luck for Mikey. Anyway, you're going to race for him.
Wait, what? Frank, I
Tom,
don't...
there's a half hour before the starting gun goes off, so this is not a discussion. The Don wants to win, but more importantly, he wants Morello to lose. And you are our best wheelman. Otherwise, I'd be talking to someone else.
Yeah. Okay, Frank.
Good. Rafi has the car gassed and ready. Get to the track right away.
Against the odds, having never been in a race of this scale before, Tommy Angelo would indeed emerge victorious at the track, thanks in no small part to their sabotage of the Europeans' race car the night before, and Don Salieri would be more than pleased with Tommy. It would also be thanks to Tommy's participation in this race that he would first catch the attention of his future wife, Sarah Marino, and shortly after his victory that the two would begin to hit it off, so to speak, with the two likely already being at least passively familiar with each other due to Tommy's rising status in Salieri's crew and Sarah's position of helping her father Luigi at Salieri's bar in Little Italy, where Tommy hung out regularly.
Hey, Tommy! There's our winner.
Hey, Tom. Just want to thank you for stepping in like you did. I had 6 months rent riding on that race. I'd be homeless now if not for you.
I just did what the Don asked, Lucas.
Well, you gotta let me find a way to repay you. Just stop by my garage when you get a chance. I might have a line on something that'll turn a buck for you.
Sure. Thanks.
I knew you wouldn't let us down, Tom. You made us all a lot of money today. And Morello's gonna be picking up pennies off the sidewalk for weeks.
Hey, what about the European?
He's probably wearing cement boots by now, the poor bastard. Here. You earned every dollar of this. Take your girl out somewhere nice.
Thanks, boss.
Drink up, boys.
You got a girl, right? I don't want you blowing all that on booze and whores.
Something, huh? Cheers.
Nah, but maybe I'll buy my ma a new coat.
Good boy. Go get yourself a drink.
Congratulations, big hero.
Nah, just got lucky's all.
Well, I had my money on the other guys, so drinks are on you.
Oh.
There. Now you're ready for the pictures.
Thanks.
And hey, when you're done celebrating, you might want to go find your buddy Paulie. He's so drunk, he's gonna get hit by a parked car.
Yeah, okay. I'll get him home safe.
It would be sometime after Tommy's win at the races in mid-November of 1932 that Luigi Marina would ask Tommy personally to walk Sarah home from Salieri's bar, paranoid at a group of punks who had been harassing his daughter lately, including, though unbeknownst to Salieri's crew, Billy Galati, son of city councilor Roberto Galati.
Yeah, that's the call, Tom. You want anything else?
Nah, I'm heading home.
Hey, Tom, before you go, I ask maybe a small favor. Huh?
Sure, Luigi, what do you need?
Walk my daughter home.
Sarah? The way I hear it, she doesn't need any kind of escort.
She's a tough. There's this pack of boys near her place. The punks, you know, cattivi ragazzi. They talk blue, make advances. Sarah, she gonna speak at the mind. But maybe she says something they don't like. Things get ugly. But if you walking at home, this will remind these punks she's the Don's goddaughter.
No problem, Luigi. I'd be honored.
Benny. Sarah, time to close.
What's this then?
Tom's gonna take you.
All right.
Hey, I just work here.
Make sure nobody bother you.
Fine. If it'll make you feel better, Pop.
Hey.
I'll see you tomorrow. Let me get my coat.
I'll wait for you outside.
Tommy, already being endeared to Luigi and interested in Sarah, would gladly agree, and the two would gradually begin to open up about their feelings for one another. After fighting off the goons hanging outside of Sarah's apartment, she would offer to clean his wounds, and the budding romance between them would slowly blossom as they empathized with each other.
Oh! Hey there, darling! Are you stepping out on us?
Piss off.
Don't cast the kitten, dollface. We'll let your boyfriend watch. What do you say?
We going to have trouble here?
Trouble started back when you tried to steal our girl, Chief.
You saps aren't careful. You'll end up in wooden overcoats. Last chance to walk away.
We ain't frails. We know who you work for.
Salieri might have been the big six when he was younger, but he's all washed up now. It's only a matter of time before Morello punches his ticket.
I don't need Salieri. Or anyone else. Not for this.
Well, then let's see what you got, cake eater.
Hey! You got a good right hook, I'll give you that. You're bleeding. Come up to my place. I'll take a look. Well, you gonna come in and take a load off, or what?
wondering when you'd invite me up.
The bank's closed, Slugger. I'm just gonna patch you up is all. Now go sit down on the couch, roll up your sleeve. I'm getting my sewing kit. Doesn't look too bad. You need something for the pain?
No, I'm fine.
You don't have to do that.
What?
I can see it fucking hurts, Tom. You want to pretend it don't? Go ask Polly to staple you up.
What do you got?
Compliments of the Don. Take another. All right. You gonna grin and bear this?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
Good. Because I don't need the little old lady next door complaining to the super about all the racket.
Just be quick about it, will ya?
It's gonna take as long as it takes. The sloppier the stitch, the uglier the scar.
That right. You stitched up a lot of fellas.
Just my father. Ma would really go after Luigi sometimes. He got pretty good at ducking dinner plates. So one day she stabbed him with her knitting needle. Right through the hand.
What for?
'Cause she was an ugly, jealous drunk. There. Not my best work, but it'll hold.
The scar will be something to remember you by, if nothing else.
You're staying over. Can't have you stumbling through the neighborhood pie-eyed. Not when them hoods are out looking for you anyways.
Yeah, okay. You got an extra blanket or something?
No. And the heat's out.
Yes, though.
Although Tommy would manage to keep the punks away from Sarah that night, word of what happened would eventually reach Don Salieri, and, having known Sarah since she was just a little girl, he would be righteously furious. Wanting to set an example for the punks, Tommy would be ordered to find them and teach them an old-school mob lesson with a little help from Polly.
This can't stand.
Sarah's okay, boss. I took care of it.
She started working here before she could see over the bar. I don't have a daughter of my own, Tom. I'd do anything for Luigi's little girl.
So would I. We all would.
That's right, boss. Anything for Luigi and Sarah.
Do those bastards think this is fucking Luna Park or something? I'll rip them apart with my own hands.
Our business is protection. But who's gonna pay up when they learn we can't even protect one of our own as she walks home from work?
So what do you want us to do?
Teach these boys a lesson. Break every bone in their bodies, put them in wheelchairs, bust their faces up so bad even their mothers can't look at them without screaming.
We know where they're holed up?
My friend on the force says we should start looking into Chinatown.
Then Big Biff will know something. Tommy, go to Vinny, get us some gear. Meet me at Biff's place.
Yeah, okay.
Leave these punks laying in the street. I want everyone to know we do not allow mad dogs to run wild in our neighborhood.
You got it, boss.
Tommy and Polly would track the punks down to an old service station where they hung out thanks to information bribed out of one Big Biff, and though initially keen on following Salieri's orders directly and merely injuring the punks, they would quickly be forced into yet another deadly shootout.
Telling you the nicest ass I've ever seen in my life.
Yo.
Oh, Billy, it's the guy from the other night.
We gotta go.
Help me over here!
Two of the lead punks would just barely manage to escape Tommy and Polly by car, but unaware of just what kind of a wheelman they were fleeing, they would quite quickly be chased after, and eventually suffer a near-fatal car crash with the Salieri soldiers not far behind. Tommy would be at least somewhat reluctant to flat-out murder a pair of now defenseless men, but with Polly in tow, he would proceed to execute Billy Galati with a shot to the head, with Polly only sparing the other occupant a finishing blow due to being out of rounds and presuming he was already dead from the crash.
Go on and pop him, Tom.
No. No, wait. Please. Please, I don't want to fucking die, man.
Christ, Tom. You can't feel sorry for these animals. A guy like this would plug you if you give him the chance. You gotta pull the trigger without thinking. Guess I'm out. This one's finished too. Oh, Christ, Tom. Snap out of it. You remember what those guys wanted to do to Sarah?
Yeah. Just,
Hey. Let's get out of here before the bulls show up, huh?
Though he'd already done his fair share of killing up to that point, this incident would appear to be the first of many to truly shock Tommy, having only killed other mobsters who were actively trying to kill him so far, instead of helpless, if morally corrupt, hoodlums, who had no hope of fighting back. To make matters even worse, Tommy would soon after learn that one of the men that Paulie had executed was in fact the son of City Councilor Roberto Galati, and the other, against all odds, had miraculously survived the car crash, albeit with serious injuries.
Simple, straight.
I can't afford this life no more.
Just getting lucky. I'll give you a chance to win your money back.
You want in, boss?
We have business to discuss, Paulie.
We're in it now, boys.
One of our associates at the coroner's office sent this over. Corpse's name is Giolotti.
You recognize him?
Sure. That's one of the punks we ran out of the neighborhood.
Now he got the bullet in the back of his head?
Yeah. We capped him.
Well, the cops ought to thank us. We did him a favor. The guy was a rapist, boss.
Yeah? Well, he was also a city councilor's son. You want to drive a politician into Morella's arms? There's no better way than killing off his family.
Christ.
It gets worse. You left another guy in the wreck?
Yeah, but he was dead when we got there.
You gonna tell me he was the president's nephew or something?
2 in the head, Paulie. If you're gonna do a job, do it right.
He made it?
Yes. He spent the week in St. Mary's, but he pulled through.
Can he point a finger at either of you?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. Look. We're gonna kill 2 birds with one blast. Galati's funeral's today at St. Michael's. Sam, you're gonna attend. Sit in the back and try to spot the lucky bastard.
How will I recognize him?
He'll be the one who just crawled away from a car wreck.
His arm is broken. Look for a sling.
Sam's gonna need a little distraction if he's gonna clean up your mess.
Are you sending Tommy to dip his wick?
It's a brothel?
A gentleman's club, just down the street from St. Michael's. The Don has invested a lot of money in it over the years.
So, me and Sam.
Regardless, the owner has suddenly decided to do business with Morello instead of us.
You want me to go remind him of his obligations?
Yes. Then blow the place up.
What?
Morello wants to take businesses away from us? He'll inherit craters.
Look, Tom, we can't send Paulie and Sam since all the ladies know them already. They'd never make it through the front door. But you can walk right in.
Okay. What about the manager?
Take care of him wherever you find him. If any of the horse see it, well, it'll be a warning. Once he's out of the way, head to his office on the top floor. Grab any documents and money you find there, and place the explosives.
Vincenzo will see that you have what you need.
And you think the blast will be big enough to give me cover?
Yeah, but be smart. Only take a shot if you know you won't get made.
Tommy, one more thing. One of the girls is passing Morello information about our operations. Before you blow the place, you'll need to take care of her, too.
You want Tommy to kill a twist? Come on, Frank.
It's just bad luck this falls to Tom. But we gotta protect the family.
Her name is Michelle. She's usually working one of the upper rooms. Her photo is in the folder.
You boys clear on everything?
Yeah.
Tom.
I got it, boss.
Then get it done.
In order to simultaneously deal with two problems, Don Salieri would instruct Sam Trapani to attend the funeral of Billy Galati and kill the surviving thug, while Tommy provided cover for the execution by blowing up a brothel, the Corleone Hotel, whose owner had recently decided to do business with Don Morello instead of Don Salieri. No longer expected to simply stand on the sidelines as Sam and Polly did the heavy lifting, Tommy would also be ordered to not only kill the manager and place dynamite inside the building, but also to find and kill a prostitute by the name of Michelle, who was apparently passing information about Salieri's operations to some of Morello's men. Not exactly keen on murdering an innocent woman for her trivial involvement in Mafia affairs, Tommy would nonetheless agree to the job, and prepare to make fireworks with a visit to Vincenzo. But Sam Trapani, being the source of information whom Michelle was gleaning her insights from, would have a rare, for him anyway, change of heart. Sam would personally ask Tommy to try and convince Michelle to leave town instead of outright killing her, and even ask Tommy to give her $100 to facilitate her rapid departure, and Tommy would gladly agree to try and help.
You, Michelle?
What's it to you?
Fella named Sam is one of your regulars.
Maybe there's a lot of guys named Sam.
You know him. Works for Don Salieri. Maybe you got him talking about our business from time to time, and maybe Don Morello offered you some money to spill what you heard.
No, Sam, trust me. I don't say nothing. He knows that.
Well, the Don's losing a lot of money because someone can't keep their mouths shut.
I was just bumping guns with some of Morello's girls. I didn't mean nothing by it. Tell him I'm sorry. Tell him I won't never open my mouth again.
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You scared then? Good. Don't you ever forget how it feels to be this scared. To know you're just one twitch away from a hole in the ground. Because if you ever show your face in this town again, they're gonna find you with two in the head. Do you understand? Lucky for you, Sam's got a big heart. Get dressed and make tracks. This place is gonna blow soon.
Thank you.
Just don't come back and we're square.
After introducing himself to the manager of the Corleone Hotel in typical mobster fashion, Tommy would make his way to Michelle's room on the second floor and offer her Sam's deal, being sure to frighten her as much as possible to ensure that she did what was asked, knowing that directly disobeying the Don's orders would almost certainly get him killed too. Tommy would then do just as instructed, and rig a load of dynamite in the manager's office in order to create a sufficient distraction for Sam's killing of the thug who got away, and immediately after detonation, make his way across the rooftops until arriving at the church to find the hoodlums still very much alive.
We've fallen, we can find redemption in death. Now, William, he was a sinner, yes, but he was also a loving son, a protective brother, and a loyal friend. And for those virtues, we pray that his soul will find salvation. And now I believe one of Billy's closest and dearest friends would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Father. I just wanted to pay my respects. Billy, I never said this, but I consider you my brother. I can't even count all the times You saved my ass from a beating. So I don't know how I'm good.
What are you doing? Wait, that's the guy. That's the guy who killed Billy!
After being spotted by the hoodlum while peering into the funeral from the back of the church, Tommy would once again be forced into a shootout in order to survive, this time, ironically, inside the house of God. Tommy would take out all of the thugs standing in his way as he attempted to find and kill the witness to Billy Galati's murder, and thankfully, at the last moment, when caught off guard, Sam Trapani would finally make his presence known, carrying out his own orders and killing the witness, even if it was much later than originally planned.
What have you done? Murder in the house of God!
These men were criminals, Father. Thieves. Rapists. Killers.
And God would have embraced them if they'd asked for forgiveness. Now, which one of these men might have sought redemption by working with the poor? Which one might have saved just one life?
None of us, Father. You bastard. If you have any confessions to make, you better do it quick.
No more bloodshed, please!
I'm sorry, Father. Consider this an act of divine retribution.
That make us even?
Sure. For now. For your trouble, Father.
I don't want your blood money.
You took theirs. Not a lot of difference from where I'm standing. That should be enough dough to patch up the bullet holes and keep you quiet.
When the cops come, you tell them the gunman who did this had East Coast accents. Must have been from out of town, right?
I won't lie. But I won't say anything at all.
Good. Be a shame if we had to come back here.
By early 1933, Tommy, with all that he'd done for the family already by that point, would obtain the rank of Capo Regime within Salieri's outfit, though we must stress that it isn't entirely clear when exactly Tommy was given this rank, nor is it clear when he became a made man for the organization, though it is certain he received this honor eventually, and certainly long before becoming a capo. In February of that year, Tommy would be tasked by Salieri's accountant, Frank Coletti, with overseeing a shipment of Canadian whiskey manufactured in my neck of the woods, and ensuring that no trouble was met along the way.
Thanks for waiting, Tom. The Don and I had to go over last month's numbers again.
Sure. So what's the job?
I want you to help Sam and Paulie with the shipment we've got coming in tonight.
Good stuff?
Straight from Canada.
Where do you need me?
Sam's going to meet our friends from the north at the farm outside of town. Paulie will oversee the trucks bringing the shipment into the city, but I want you to go with him. Be an extra pair of eyes. Make sure it all goes smoothly.
Okay.
Get the car from Ralphie. Meet Paulie at the warehouse. He's got heaters in case you run into any trouble.
Sure, Frank. No problem.
Good. Now bring the Canadian home safe, Tommy. There is already a case earmarked for the Don.
Perhaps unsurprisingly, however, Tommy and Paulie would indeed run into trouble when arriving at the farm where the Canadians were meant to meet them along with Sam, and after a brief hesitation, proceed to trudge their way through the mud to find Sam as one of the heaviest rainstorms of the decade poured down upon them. Tommy would investigate the farm and find further hints at foul play before returning to the truck and finding one of their own crew murdered. Ambushed by a group of plainclothes police officers paid off by Morello, Tommy would instinctively defend himself, and soon after meet up with Paulie, where the two discovered just who it was Tommy had killed.
Hey, buddy. Jesus.
Drop your weapon.
You first.
We don't have time for this.
Sorry, pal. Guess we're doing this the hard way.
Okay, then.
Get over here! I got him pinned down! Wow! It's me, Tom.
Polly, what took you so long?
Looking for Sammy? Did you find him?
Nah, not yet. Just him.
Canadian crew. Dollars to donuts, the rest are face down in the dirt, too. Oh, Christ. They're cops, Tommy.
Well, how would I know? They didn't show a badge. God, they didn't say anything.
They must be in Morello's pocket. This bastard. He can't even let us have this one racket. Forget about it, Tom. We gotta find Sam and get out of here.
Despite the potential slip-up, Tommy and Polly would continue seeking out Sam, and in the process eventually locate the dead Canadian crew, butchered by presumably whoever it was that was keeping Sam from rejoining them. When the two finally did locate their fellow capo, it would be under extreme duress, as Sam attempted to hold out inside of a barn while being fired on from all directions, and eventually taking a hit that put him temporarily out of action. Tommy would fight his way to Sam while Polly retrieved the truck in order to help the injured mobster escape, and in the fighting, several more of Salieri's crew accompanying Tommy would also be murdered by what we presume to have been Morello's men. By the seat of their pants, Tommy and Polly would just barely manage to get Sam loaded onto the back of the truck by the time the LHPD cavalry arrived in an armored car, bent on eliminating them, or at the very least, arresting them.
Boys, stay here and watch our backs. Plug anyone who gets within 100 yards. Except us.
Hey, Polly.
Sammy. Oh, Jesus, what have they done to you?
I got clipped. Christ, that's a lot of blood.
Can you walk?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, just hang on. I'll go get the truck, then we'll take you to the doctor. Hey, you're gonna make it, Sam. Tommy, stay here with him. I'll be back in a flash.
Okay.
Fuck!
Hey, it'll be okay, Sam. We've survived worse.
Sure we have.
Oh, Christ. Tony and Donnie, too?
Yeah.
What a fucking massacre. How's Sam?
Well, he ain't any worse.
I'll go get him. Keep an eye out.
Come on now. We're going home. I need the doctor, Polly. Yeah, you got here. Just hang on.
I got you. Okay.
Okay. Hey, we're gonna get you all patched up. Okay?
Polly? We got more company.
All right, get in.
I'm right here, Sam.
There's some ammo and a Thompson back there somewhere. When they pull in behind you, blast them down. Just don't let them get past us.
As it turned out, though, Paulie would prove himself also capable of being a wheelman when the pressure was down, and thanks to Tommy's precision shooting, the three would manage to survive the encounter and take down numerous cops following them in the process. Though they would leave the meeting empty-handed of any product they could hawk back to their patrons in town, they would also manage to save Sam's life, and get him safely to the Soulier crew's doctor in the dead of night.
Paulie, we gotta lose him! We did it! We did it!
Okay, we're here, Tom. You get Sam out. I'm gonna go wake up the doc.
Sam. We made it. We're at the doctor's house.
3, I owe you.
Paulie, what the hell are you doing here so late?
Evening, Doc. Sorry to wake you, but we had a little accident. We got an injured man out here.
All right, bring him inside.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll stay with Sam. You can take the truck back. Call it a night.
No, I'll wait.
The doc's already got his hands full. No sense in both of us breathing down his neck.
Go on, Tom. I'm gonna be fine.
Okay.
Hey, you did good tonight.
Following his harrowing experience in the country, Tommy would return home to Sarah and find himself actively fearing for his future and the future of his family. In an impulsive moment, Tommy would ask Sarah for her hand in marriage, and the two would eventually commit to a date in June of the following year, as well as eventually having 2 children, a daughter and a son, though it isn't entirely clear where or when they were born, or even what their names were, likely due to the dramatic changes Tommy's life would see towards the end of the 1930s.
You're late. Dinner's cold.
Work. Marry me.
Okay.
About 2 months later, in April of 1933, Tommy would once again be forced to deal with the reality of mob life in a way that would test his convictions, when Don Salieri learned of a potential mole in the family who was secretly aiding Don Morello, with Tommy being given the order to put them down for good. As it turned out, this mole was none other than Don Salieri's personal accountant in Frank Coletti, whom he had known since he was a young man back in Sicily. And despite this history, Tommy would be expected to track Frank down on his way out of the country and do what was expected of him by killing Frank for his betrayal of the family.
Hey, boss. I came as soon as I got your message.
Sit down, Tom. We have a mole, Tom.
No. Who?
I was up all night driving myself nuts trying to figure it out. I started thinking maybe it's one of our guys. We aren't paying his fair share. Someone with a light wallet. Maybe looking to Morello for a new suit. Frank wasn't around, so I went to the safe to get the account books. To see who's getting cents on the dollar he's earned.
What do you know?
The books are gone, Tom.
Frank.
More than 50 years I've known him. Everything I have, I got with Frank. And every buck we've earned, every dime we've paid out, it's all logged in those books. Frank hands those over to the feds, we're finished.
Frank respects one person in this whole town, and that's you. This has got to be some kind of misunderstanding.
I've been calling him all day. I went by his place. He's gone. His wife and kid are gone.
But why?
I don't know. I'm sure he has his reasons. Maybe he's still smarting over the dog.
The one you tried to drown?
Yeah. Same one I shot after he wouldn't let me sink her. I was a stupid kid, Tommy. But grudge or no grudge, we gotta get those books back. Shake down all our stories. See who knows what. When you catch up to Frank, you get those books. And if he doesn't have them on him, you make him tell you where to find them. After that, you do what we gotta do.
Tommy would, at least initially, set off to do just as he was told, locating Frank at a safe house in Oakwood where he pursued him all the way to Lost Heaven International Airport. With a plane already fueled and plans in place for his departure back to Europe, Frank would nearly escape Salieri's grasp entirely, but a resourceful Tommy Angelo would either by force or by stealth manage to catch up just in time to catch Frank preparing to board the plane to safety.
Tom.
Frank. The Don sent me.
I figured as much. I'm sorry it had to be you, Tommy.
Anything you want me to tell him?
I wish it could have shaken out better, but Morello finally came after me. It's okay. You can come out. Morello offered me a simple trade. The Don's account books for our lives and tickets out of this town.
You hand the books over yet?
I'm not so stupid, Don. They're safe. Morello was waiting for this.
It's a key to a box in the Grand Imperial Bank downtown.
I told Morello I'd hand it over after the plane was fueled and ready to go. His men were meant to fetch it before we left.
I took care of them. Told them to get on a plane.
Go on, March. Alice, get aboard.
Frank, you're coming with us.
Not right now, honey. Just get buckled in. Tommy and I, we have some serious business to discuss.
But Frank...
Get on the plane, March! For Alice. For me. Get on the goddamn plane, please.
You been paid yet?
Yeah.
Now you've been paid twice. You take the ladies wherever they want to go.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Tom. Christ, Frank. Why didn't you ask us for help?
I guess I just wanted out. One way or the other. I'm tired, Tommy. Tired of lying to my wife. Tired of checking under my car every time I take a Sunday drive. And tired of waiting for the dawn to put two in my temple.
God damn you, Frank.
However, despite the enormous risk to himself and his own family should he fail his mission, Tommy would be seemingly unable to kill Frank in cold blood right in front of his family, having a particular history with the man that went above and beyond any target he had thus far been told to eliminate. The two would strike a sort of deal, with Frank giving Tommy the key to a safety deposit box at the Grand Imperial Bank containing the books on Salieri's operation, and Tommy allowing Frank to live and depart lost heaven with his family, with plans to report Frank's death back to the Dawn in the aftermath. And in fact, Tommy would do just that. He would tell Don Salieri that he'd personally killed Frank, and even be tasked with burning Frank's home down just before the funeral, as a way of symbolically cleaning house for a new era.
I got the books and covered my tracks. Salieri never asked any questions. In fact, apart from the funeral, I never heard him talk about Frank again.
You're making my boys twitchy, Marku.
Sergio and I just came by to pay respects, that's all. Known Frank a long time. Almost as long as you. He's a good man. Smart. Loyal. Loyal to his wife. His kid above all else. There must be some kind of honor in that in you.
Maybe. But I'm still looking at this headstone with his little girl's name on it.
It's a hell of a thing.
Later that year, in the summer of 33, Tommy would learn from Salieri about a prosecutor on Don Morello's payroll who was rumored to be ready to leak information that directly tied Salieri's crew to the murder of Billy Galati, and once again, Tommy would be asked to clean up the mess. He would be tasked with escorting an expert safecracker straight from Italy, Salvatore, onto the premises of the prosecutor's mansion, and sneak inside to steal whatever evidence he had on Salieri, and by extension, Tommy, for his role in Billy's death.
Look at these houses. Big yards, white picket fences. It's the American dream, eh, Tommy?
I suppose.
Not for you?
No, sir. I like being closer to the business.
Don't let the flower beds and front porches fool you. There's more criminals out here than in the rest of the city combined.
Is that why we're in the neighborhood?
In a way. Morello's got a dirty prosecutor on his payroll named Watkins. Turns out he's old friends with Galati.
The city councilor?
The same. Morello let drop that we might have had something to do with the Galati boy's death. Now Watkins is loaded for bear, trying to do right by his buddy. Word is, he's striking gold with a few witnesses.
You have names?
Yeah. But Paulie and Sam are taking care of them. I'm putting you on a different part of the job. We need whatever Watkins has got on us.
Well, where's he holding?
A safe in his villa.
I'm no safecracker.
Don't worry about that. We're taking you to meet Salvatore. He's fresh off the boat, but he knows how to pop open anything. Just get him into the villa, find the safe, and he'll do the rest.
What kind of rumpus should I expect?
Nothing you can't handle. Watkins is going to the theater, so the house should be empty except for a bit of muscle. The office is on the first floor, and our stoolie says the safe is in the wall. Once Salvatore has the safe open, grab all the evidence and get out.
That him, boss?
Yeah, that's our guy. Salvatore, tutto bene?
Sì, grazie, Don Salieri.
Good to see you. You know the job. Don't let me down.
Sì, ho capisco.
Tommy, if you bump into Watkins, don't kill him. It'll just bring down more heat.
You got it, boss.
Buona fortuna, ragazzi.
Tommy Angelo. Piacere di conoscerti.
Meraviglioso. Per favore.
Luckily, the two would indeed manage to sneak their way onto the property, and Salvatore would work his safe-cracking magic. But on the way out, they would be forced to deal with not only Morello's goons attempting to stop them, but also the LHPD, when an impatient Tommy inadvertently triggered the mansion's alarms by digging around inside the safe for evidence, before Salvatore had a chance to explain or disarm the system. Had it been anyone else in Salieri's crew, their chances for success might have been slim. But with Tommy's particularly adept skills with both a firearm and a motor car, the two thieves would manage to escape the mansion untouched, and evade the police long enough to drop their trails and report back to Don Salieri with news of their success.
Bravo. Scusa.
Sure. Show me what you can do. Shit. Be quick, Salvatore.
Pazienza, pazienza.
Nice work, scusami.
Cura! Ed è collegato all'allarme!
What?
Intrappolato!
Doesn't matter. Come on, we need to get out of here. Vai dietro, dietro.
Even with one more metaphorical bullet dodged, however, the Salieri family would be far from problem-free by this time, as they attempted to find a replacement for the loss of the Canadian whiskey suppliers mere months before the city of Lost Heaven and the rest of America repealed Prohibition and made the entire endeavor far less lucrative. In September, Paulie would overhear a group of Kentucky whiskey suppliers who were regular customers of the Morello family, and discover that they too had reason enough to be dissatisfied with their deal, and were already looking for a new buyer. Paulie would set up a deal with the moonshiner, William Gates, and his crew at a parking garage, where they planned to stage their deal as a faux robbery from Morello, but as had become so common by then, things wouldn't exactly go as planned.
This is the last of the good stuff, boss.
I know. Some of those bottles I've had for 10 years. But we gotta make payroll. Get it out of here.
Heard him. Load it up.
Good to see you, boys.
Boss, any word on a job I pulled with Salvatore?
You did fine, Tom. Galati's got nothing on us now. We bought some time. At least until the money runs out.
Don't go selling off the farm yet, boss.
Sam says you worked out an angle.
Yeah. And you're gonna love it. We make a few bucks and knock out a couple of Morello's teeth, too.
Okay, what's the rumpus?
A couple of weeks ago, I'm relaxing in the cigar lounge at the Blue Tropics.
Where?
Some small-time whorehouse. It's just a couple of closets with some mattresses on the floor.
It's a gentleman's club. They got a bar and everything. Anyways, one of the Johns is south, and he's crying to the madam about all his troubles. He catches my ear on account of his goofy accent. He's going on and on about how he just landed this huge payday, but the goons he's working for are already twisting his arm, and he's got the busted nose to show for it.
You pick up his tab?
Hell no. But I walked him out of the place, took him to the diner around the corner to sober up. We get to talking. Turns out his name is Gates. He's this hick up from Kentucky.
Moonshiner?
Better. His pop's got a couple of real distilleries, and I'll give you one guess as to their exclusive buyer around these parts.
Morello.
And you think he wants to burn bridges?
Oh yeah. I've been working him steady, boss. He's bringing up another shipment tonight, but he's got his entire crew ready to roll over. All we gotta do is make it look like a proper heist.
I don't know, Polly. You really trust this guy?
He's got no love for Morello, I'll tell you that. Not like we got a lot of options here. We'll be cutting up the last beam pretty soon, boss.
What do you think, Tom?
We need to replace the Canadian. If Polly says this Gates can do that, I'm in.
Where's the meet?
The big parking garage downtown.
Okay, do it. But you better not be playing grab ass this time. You take Carlo and Little Bill with you.
Sure thing, boss.
Once you have the truck, drive it back here.
When Morello's soldiers arrived at nearly the worst possible time, they would immediately engage with Sam, Polly, Tommy, and the rest of the crew, on top of injuring Gates and killing all of his accompanying henchmen. With Gates hurt but still alive, the Soulier boys would flee the building still holding onto the whiskey shipment, and fight their way through dozens of Morello's men in the process, with Tommy and Polly covering Sam as they exited the garage and delivered the booze to the family warehouse, while being pursued by Morello thugs the entire way.
Polly! Good to see you, pal.
Yeah, you too, Gates.
Well, I hope you all have good taste in whiskey.
I ain't really the expert here. Tommy!
Oh, yeah. It's fine. Your first payment. If the Don's impressed, he'll finance more runs.
And each one's gonna be bigger than the last. We're all gonna be rich, boys.
Well, we're always happy to do business with good folks like Don Salieri. Please, give him my regards.
Sure thing. Now we just gotta conclude this transaction.
Damn it, Polly! No! It's okay. Oh.
What? I told you, we gotta make it look like a proper robbery.
Damn thing's gonna be crooked by the time I'm done with this city.
Ah, don't worry, pal. With all the dough you're raking in, you're gonna be able to pay for a new one.
Watch out!
God damn it!
At least for a couple of months, Soulier and his crew would be back in business selling illegal alcohol to the denizens of Lost Heaven, but by December of 1933, Prohibition would be repealed, and all of their efforts would seem to have been for nothing.
Looks like a 38. Morello's boys caught up with you?
Yeah, boss. We took care of it.
What about the kid from Kentucky?
He took a slug to the shoulder, but he's a tough blocker. He and his crew dusted out as soon as we bumped off Morello's hatchet men.
Getting shot will give Gates and his pop another reason to ice Morello out of the whiskey business.
Well, let's see if this hooch was worth all the trouble. Excellent. I'll work out the details with Papa Gates. But once we're running this Kentucky Brown, we'll be back in brass buttons. Good work, son. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of all of you. Saludo!
Saludo!